Welcome, everybody, to Generation Dan, the only show where we promise we totally care who wins. I'm Atlas Novak. I'm your millennial. Who else is here with me?
I'm Dino, the genetic marvel. I'm the old person that doesn't get or understand anything. And our especially special guest today, since we're talking about sports, is the one and only Mr. Joey Edibles. Welcome,
Since I'm
Joey.
the only person that these guys know who's ever been to a football, baseball, or basketball game, I'm delighted to join you to provide the opinion of people who actually care about sports in the world.
I have been to all three of those.
Lakers games a lot as a kid. I have never been to an NFL game in my life.
Oh, bro. So, you know what? I'll be honest with you, Joey. The one thing that I appreciate was the 4K NFL streaming that came out like years ago. Like I think it was like mid 2000, like 2005, 2006, where bro, you could watch the sweat drop off somebody's face, and you're like, that is top tier content. You're like, that's how you do it, right? But when you go to an NFL game, forget everything. You are on the field of battle. Everything changes. It is like, in all honesty, it's the closest comparison to the Coliseum that we have these days, next to like an actual fight. But even still, like it is very much the field of battle. And like the only other place that I've felt an environment as potent as a live NFL game, and like, bro, it was the Bills that I went to. Like, it's not like it wasn't some crazy good game.
It wasn't even a good team.
No, right. But like the only thing comparison was when I got to see a game where the Yankees won in the old Yankee Stadium, and that 100% has its own universe. Like, it's a very different environment, right?
Here's the thing with like the differences between those three sports. Baseball is more of a like, go with your friends and talk. I have yet to see somebody who goes to a baseball game like, I'm going to sit there and pay attention to everything that's going on. No, you talk to your friends till you hear the crack of a bat. Then you go, what's going on? Oh, it's a home run. Yeah!
So apparently, I know, I think it's Jason Bateman. He's like crazy about baseball, and he'll go in with like a radio and like listen, and he's just like watching. Like, he won't take his eyes off it. Like, it's a big thing for him.
Okay.
City 14, bro.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I used to keep score. I can still keep score in a baseball game. It's an analytical sport. If you're a numbers nerd, you like shit like that. You like the stats, how they pitch against it. Baseball's an amazing sport. It's a thinking sport. The thing I like about baseball is that anybody can play baseball. And look at Ichiro Suzuki, John Kruk, Babe Ruth. Any body type, weight, whatever, can all play baseball. And I love that.
Yeah, baseball is cool for that. But I'm saying, like, as a spectator going to see it, you don't really have to pay all that much attention to the game because of these little pockets of things going on.
It's
basketball.
Basketball,
you have to pay, like, everything is very granular. You're paying attention to, like, what's going on with the ball, who's got the ball, slam dunk, who's got the ball. Like, it keeps going. Football is like splitting the difference between the two, where you are paying attention very closely, but for like 5 seconds at a time. Yeah, and then they gotta like reset up the guys, and then you talk to your friends and get a beer, and you come back, and then it's like you were saying with the gladiators, watching the helmets crunch against each other.
100%. Yeah,
right.
So that's okay. I love this. They made a movie about this. It's called The 40-Year-Old Person.
My good man, I am 30 years old. I still got 10 years to break that curse.
10 years to have sex. Right. One of these days.
What's up, man? No, like, but this is the thing is like, and especially too, like, I abhor watching sports on TV if it's just a game. Like, it's just like, if it's a playoff or a final, sure, that's fine. But if it's just a game, zero. Like, I'm like, this isn't entertaining. But live, that's like, I think out of the three, football, baseball, and basketball, I find the least entertaining is basketball. Just for me personally, just because I'm like, I'm not like, I like playing basketball when I could. Which one of my future goals. There's three things. Is I want to do a dragon squat, a muscle up, and I also want, because when I was a teenager, I could put this much on top of a basketball rim, like a regulation 10-footer. I could jump up and grab like that. But I was too fat. So like if I actually tried to hold on, I would rip the whole thing down. So
yeah.
But now I'm trying to learn to jump again because like bro, if I fall and I break something, there's still a good chance that I'm gonna die there, right? So I'm like, I gotta learn how to be more how I hide a body. This is not Google. Extento, come on.
If you want advice hiding a body, you got to talk to people offline because they're gonna flag you if you talk about that in DMs. But like the best thing about football is the tailgate by far. Like, I mean, baseball and basketball, they have fun at parties, playoffs, whatever. But like every single football game you're gonna see, at least here in the Midwest, always a tailgate, and that is just the best ever. Because we get up at like 5, 6 in the morning, go down there and just eat, get high, smoke, drink, whatever you want to do, you could do. It's just it's a utopia of partying, in my opinion. I love it. I fucking love it.
As long as you don't ruin it for everybody, as long as you're not a problem, if you're there for a good time, you're gonna have a good time. That's the one thing we were hoping because we went to Niagara Falls for a buddy's bachelor party, and then he's a Sporto. So we were like, listen, let's cross the border and we'll go to a Bills game. So we got tickets for the Bills game, which was fantastic. But we were hoping to do a tailgate, but we didn't really know anyone or anything. So we're like, you know what, let's just go and we'll see what happens, right? But like ultimately, that is one thing I do want to do. I want to come down for a proper tailgate.
Come down for a Browns one, bro. I got my buddy Steve. I mean, any city there's a game and the Browns are playing. We hook up with a group down in these different cities, so we have parties and we went to Pittsburgh, LA, everywhere we go, we fucking party like that, man. That's just how it is. But yeah, definitely shoot up for a Browns game. We'll hook it up.
Oh yeah.
The thing with the reason I missed football was the Rams weren't a team in LA until 2016. Like they were in LA, then they moved to St. Louis for my entire life, and then they came in right as I was finishing college. So I never got to experience like my home football team. And then of course they're like, oh, we'll throw the Chargers in there too. I'm like, I don't care.
I'm secretly rooting for an all LA Super Bowl. I want the Rams versus Chargers. Just to piss everybody off. Just to piss all these fucking fans off.
That would 100%. I mean, like now everyone hates the Dodgers because we beat the Yankees like so soundly. Which we're the New England Patriots, or I guess the Chiefs now are the villain team. Where everyone's like, fuck that team.
Talk about just spending money that you don't have. The fucking LA Dodgers. My goodness gracious,
bro. LA is one of the most profitable places that is super poor in the universe, I think. Like the next level is Dubai, where you're like, oh, everything's rich, but you're still poor. Like it's not,
Ditto New York. The Dodgers aren't owned by the city. Like they have an owner. I can't remember the owner's name because I never looked it up.
The city still pays all sorts of shit for them, which makes no sense whatsoever. That's the one thing I've been so enraged about whenever I hear that the city is putting forth a budget to make a new stadium for a team, and you're like, oh, you mean the gajillion-dollar team that should be able to pay for their own stadium? You're going to pay for that, right? What are you talking about? That makes no sense whatsoever. But
where's my trains, motherfucker?
Well, we can't do mass transport in Cleveland because like it's just a car culture, man. Why am I gonna drive 10 minutes to go park my car, get in a train when I can just drive 20 minutes? It doesn't make no sense.
See, this is the
point.
Thing. Hey.
That's the point, Joey. More trains means you don't have to drive as often.
Hey, just to give Atlas a hard on live on the internet, that's the problem. Is the car industry railroaded railroads, trains, and transit back in like
the 50s.
Well, even before that, right? Because they're like, oh, we need this steel for the war. We're taking it all out, right? You're like, oh, we can't build trains. We need to build war stuff. And you're like, okay. And they're like, well, are we going to get that back? They're like, no, it's gone now. It's gone. We're not going to do that. You know what you need? You need a good car. And that changed everything, right? And now, just so everyone knows, Atlas is rock hard. He's like, I love trains. Yeah. Autism has entered the conversation.
I found out that the creator of Thomas the Tank Engine died the other day, and I was like, wow, RIP to a real one. Like, that was my first fandom when I was like 3 years old, was I love Thomas the Tank Engine.
You said autism has entered the chat. Did I? I wanted to put I want to get a poster made that says Train Festival, Autistic's Not Welcome, put on the bottom of it just to make myself laugh.
That'd be fucking evil.
Well, yeah, I mean, can you imagine?
But yeah, so like the thing with tailgate culture, Joey, that you brought up. So you said you get there like crack of dawn and you're just there till the game starts? Like
yes, sir.
All day. That sounds really fun, and I can understand why you would have it like in the Midwest. Also, the South does that a lot.
Yeah.
And even all the way down through like high school, I've seen Friday Night Lights. Right? Like,
bro. Hey, Mr. Sloth, if you check out my TikTok, I have a
Bullet Train is a
video
great
where
movie.
there's a Bullet Train version, or not version, but a Bullet Train character that is in Thomas the Tank Engine. And just so you know, he has a Japanese name. It is hilarious. Just an FYI. That's on my TikTok. It got like 8,000 views, bro. Because people were like, "What?" Yeah.
Wait, I didn't even know that. That must have happened after I learned to read.
Well, now it's about inclusivity. You're like, well, we need an Asian character. Bullet Train. Boom. You're like, I mean, it's not wrong.
Yeah,
I mean, every city atlas has the tailgate. I mean, we went to SoFi for the Rams Browns game. There was a pretty good tailgate out there too. It's just,
okay.
I mean, it's more prominent here because like there's really nothing to do in the winter. So like, I mean, even in the fall, there's some stuff to do. But you know how it is. It's just I mean, it's a great deal, man. My buddy Steve hooks it up. It's $40, all you can drink, all you can eat. He gives you breakfast, food, lunch food, and you get fucking beers, shots, bar, everything's there. I mean, it's
so when it's the winter, is it like everyone's got their like grills out and that's what's heating everything, or you're in like a big?
I mean, we put out portable heaters. We just kind of deal with it. Go in the car if you get cold, kind of thing. But yeah, it's just whatever the elements are, you do. I mean, some of the funnest tailgates are the coldest ones. I mean,
for sure.
That game a couple years ago was -4, whatever. Fuck, that was fun, man. It was just fun.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not an idiot, you could bundle up for him and you put the right amount of clothes on,
Well, this is the thing is if you have the right clothing, whether it doesn't matter, right? Like you just have to take care of your face and like I was telling this to somebody else the other day I'm like, if your head, hands, and feet are warm, dry, and comfortable, everything kind of takes care of itself because that's the exit point for a lot of heat, right? Like most of the rest of your body is going to be covered. So ultimately, if your hands, because they're more active, your feet are close to the ground where there's cold, and then your head is just the top, right? So it's like once those things are done, it's not that bad. All right, that's cool. What do you think to win tonight, Lions or Vikings? Joey, Lions or Vikings?
I think the Vikings will take it just because the Lions are too amped, and it's a home game for the Lions, and I just think the Vikings will sneak in there. Just my gut feeling.
The must fall.
the one thing is that I love the Vikings mascot because he looks like Hulk Hogan, like peak Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like I love it. It's I'm a Hulkamaniac, brother. It's fine. It's just it's totally thing.
I'm Hulkamaniac. Gonna go settle in Normandy.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Do you want to visit Saudi Arabia? Absolutely. I'd love to go to Saudi Arabia, but I want the full experience. Joey would die immediately.
Well, I mean, I'm not opposed to it if they change some laws. I mean, it's yeah, you gotta loosen up on the women thing. You gotta loosen up on the weed thing. I mean,
I was gonna say I know exactly what laws he's talking about.
I want to tighten up on the woman thing and open up on the drug thing. I'm different from Joey. Okay, I'm like, no, I'm fine. Open up the drugs. Women, less. They need less rights. They don't need that.
Right. I mean, what comes?
Is Victoria watching this episode, Dino?
Doesn't matter. She knows.
The main attraction in Saudi Arabia is like Jeddah and all the lights and the different things. And I mean, if they I think a lot of the Saudi royal family, what they're building, King Abdullah Samad, I think his name is, the newer one, the younger guy. He's that line project. I'm curiously fascinated with like how they do stuff. And they had this project. It was supposed to be like 150-kilometer straight thing in the desert, and
the wall.
It was completely unfathomable, and they just I don't know. They get too grandiose in their prediction.
They've already started building it. Like, so this is the thing is like, it's basically, Mohammed bin Salman. Yeah. So like what they're trying to do is build an environment that will maintain their, is it called the line? Oh, the line. Yeah. Not the line.
Yeah. Sorry. There's so many videos.
The wall was in America. My bad. The line, Saudi Arabia. Gotcha. No, but that's the thing is like, they're trying to actually, build up their area because like look there's not much and if you look at I love seeing videos like time lapses of cities and they'll show like this was Dubai in 1980, this is Dubai now, you're like Jesus Christ. But even like Toronto, you're like there is nothing over 5 stories high, and then you're like except the CN Tower, just one erect penis right in the middle of the city, and then you're like oh now you can't even see the Sky Dome, it's everything's in. You guys should watch rugby.
I'm rewatching How I Met Your Mother, and there's that plot point where Ted is working at an architecture firm, and the skyscraper they're developing looks like a dick.
That's a penis. Yeah. That's a great. That is one of the greatest episodes. You guys should watch rugby instead of football. So when we say football, we're actually referring to American football, not soccer. But I
think he means that. Like,
well, that's the thing. It's the same in Norway. We look poor compared to the Emirates or Saudis. Everyone looks poor in comparison to the Emirates, Saudis, and Qatar and Kuwait. Yeah,
the most expensive spot, and not the most expensive, but I think the most per capita income's got to be Kuwait, dude. I had buddies that went to the base over there in Kuwait, and they said like these Kuwaiti women just get off work and just go shopping all day. They got so much money, they got nothing to do but just go shopping. So
it's a whole thing. What's up, San? Our capital cities is but see, this is the problem. Is it's as soon as F-35X-2, Jesus, bro. But like, it's one of those things where you're going like the problem which we've inherently seen throughout, right, is that listen, we're given things to distract us, right, which sports are. And the one thing I love about this comment with regards to rugby is that like the coolest thing is where soccer is a gentleman's sport played by hooligans, whereas rugby is a hooligan sport played by gentlemen. Because bro, in rugby, people will get punched in the face, like no quarter, just whap right in the face, and they go, "Oh, sorry, shake hands, my bad." And you're like, "That's wild." I played rugby for. I was trying in school, but we couldn't get enough people for a team, so we just had practices and stuff. And I wedgied a couple guys because they're like, "Oh yeah," so you grab the guy from the waist and you lift them up into the air, and I'm like, I'm definitely wedging a guy.
Football, when it comes to hitting, though, football's way worse. Getting hit in pads and football is 10 times worse than just tackling in rugby. It is, because you're running in full force with reckless abandon, boom, right into people every single play. That shit hurts. I played a couple years of football, bro.
I was going to say that wasn't there like a study where like the pads in football make it more dangerous because they're like, oh, I have pads, I'll be okay, and then like the concussions are worse.
Oh yeah. Well, also too, like the recent developments with regards to padding and stuff, like where they have you'll see some guys with like a ring around the back of their neck, is specifically meant because they're like, yeah, you'll break your neck, and you won't even realize until like 4 days there, you're like, my neck is still hurting. I don't know what's. You're like, it's because it's broken. But like I saw two guys run, like they were what was it? They were trying to see who could run faster. And they were playing baseball, and they ran against each other and then ran into each other. Bro, full force, both of them got concussions. You're just like, why would you do that?
Like, that's some like Three Stooges shit. Like, all right, you know this way, you know this way. And then
it was. But that's the thing is like, I've seen, and we were talking about this on Hammered and Cheese a couple times, Joey. There's a video of Ocho Cinco trying to run up on Ray Lewis, because he thinks Ray Lewis doesn't see him. And Ray Lewis just, bro, he hits him. Oh, he takes the hit to the point where Ocho Cinco just like drops like he's going to die. And he's like, I thought he didn't see me. I made a mistake. He definitely saw me. And he came over and he's like, hey man, how you doing? He's like, you thought I didn't see you, right? He's like, I totally thought I did. I thought I was going to get you, bro. I'm so sorry. He's like, that's all right. That's all right. But now you know. And you're like, bro, some of those hits, like, I'll tell you, watching someone get hit live at an NFL game, bro, you're like, that guy's not getting up. And then they get up and you're like, that guy is a man. Like, holy shit. Like that is a man. Because like,
they estimate that like 98 to 99% of people who ever played American football have got CTE. So it's
for sure.
Quite up there.
Hey, I think so many people that play sports, especially professionally, regardless of what sport, will suffer from some sort of injury with that. Can you do a beatbox, sir? I mean, not really, not good.
Right. Could we do it? Yeah, but would it get results and platinum record?
Listen, everyone from my generation and Joey's generation can beatbox. Not well, but we can, just because that's when we grew up. Atlas' generation is like you hit the box. I don't understand. You're like, no, it's not the same. It's not. Middle guy, respect having the English flag. Well,
which is funny because he's probably the most offensive out of all of us.
It fits in line with the UK. They're an offensive people. They like offending people. So
you know what? I do appreciate that, but also, especially in the UK, is if you think you're high up, they will immediately cut that shit down. Like you're like, yeah, you're just a person. Ultimately, you may be famous or whatever, you're still just a person. So, pop, which I do love. The line looks amazing. The Saudis build projects are so innovative. I will definitely be visiting once. Yeah, see, this is the thing, though, is like the problem with the line is I look at it and be like, wow, that looks amazing, but it is not possible for everybody, right? Like that's not it's not an environment that is maintainable, but at the same time, it's in the desert. What are you going to do?
Thing to say, but doesn't it feel like a prison almost? Like you're trapped in this giant thing, you can't go anywhere. It's
So is space, though, right? Like think about it. So is the open ocean. So like that's the weird part is we put ourselves in these weird things, environments where you're like, oh, like this is someone was like, oh, do you want to go on a cruise? I'm like, not really. They're like, how come? I'm like, because I can't breathe underwater, and that's a problem to me. Because they're like, oh, we can't see land anymore. You're like, that means I can't swim to land. That means no, thank you, because that means there's big fish. Big fish is just whoop, and eat me like a thing. Oats, Macintosh. I don't know what that means. Midnight burn, but still,
me neither.
Is soccer
I think
big?
when they were talking about the Cinco.
Ocho Cinco. Oh, Ocho
Okay.
Cinco. Yeah. He changed his name to Ocho Cinco. It's a small. I don't know what thing he does, but I think he's a receiver. But he's fast. He's very fast. But
is soccer big over the pond? Not really. We have a national soccer league, but like the culture behind
it's like this, man. With soccer, they've been trying to make it. Bill Clinton had a famous. Remember Bill Clinton? His famous quote was, "Soccer is the sport of the future in America, and it always will be." I mean, you got little kids, younger kids will always play soccer because it's an easy sport to play. You run around, kick a ball. But once they get out of third, fourth grade, they kind of usually grow out of it. And they try to push it. I mean, we got the Major League Soccer over here. What's his name? Messi plays for Inter Miami. I mean, they try to do it, but we're in America, we're weird. We're used to being the best at stuff. Like the NFL is the best best football players in the world. Baseball, all the best baseball players come here. Basketball, all the best. So like when we have a sport like soccer and the best aren't here, they're all over in the Premier League. It's never going to catch on like that until, I mean, if they put the Premier League over here, maybe, but even then they're not going to do that because it's so rooted in, UK culture. And I mean, in Europe, the European leagues are always going to be bigger is going to be the problem.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is like they're doing their darndest to make soccer a big thing. And like the advantage is soccer is the most widely played sport in the world only because all you need is a ball, right? Like you don't need, which realistically you can use a fruit. It doesn't, like, you just got to kick it. It's not a big deal, right? So, but after all, like that's why, like up here, hockey is a huge thing. But you're like, yeah, if you have to buy hockey equipment for your kid every year because they're growing, yeah, that's a goddamn nightmare because it's not cheap, right?
Yeah.
Do you call the feet football?
Okay, so there's actually a reason for this. So, it used to be called association.
Racism.
Well, no, association football, and then the suck in association, and then got left over, and then we called it soccer, and then gridiron football was like American football, and then the gridiron sort of fell away. We still say gridiron from time to time, like they're going to meet out on the gridiron, but it's just they were both called football at one point, and then association football became soccer in the U.S., and then football for gridiron football stuck.
Also, too, if somebody calls it the gridiron, you don't want to hang out with that person. That person has not.
It's kind of like the people who call it the Big Apple. Like, shut up.
Yeah, you're like, it's not. It's stop. What's up, like, RJ?
I'm going to New York City, New York. You can just say New York. I'm going to Cali. No.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite is Frisco. Like nobody in San Francisco calls it Frisco.
Don't call it Frisco. Yeah.
Oh, gross.
Unless you're Randy Newman, don't do it.
Victoria's asking, "Hey, are you wearing your fancy cardigan, Dino?" Yes, this is my impression of Atlas. This is what I'm doing today. This is beautiful. How I'm. I didn't know what to wear.
Like Joey, for some reason, this is very interesting.
Yeah.
Hoodie,
I've advanced to Atlas. Atlas has dropped down to Joey, and Joey is just Joey.
Yeah, I have degenerated.
Yeah, that's fine. We call it football here. Yeah, I find it interesting that there's that dynamic of football versus soccer, but it's like it's 100% football, but it's also soccer. So whatever, who cares? It's not. In the UK, Bill Clinton had a famous line: "I never had sexual."
Funny.
Hey, and he never did. That's.
I really, in hindsight, in the Clinton stuff, I really was really bad for Monica Lewinsky. How the media. Jay Leno in particular, they bullied the fuck out of that girl.
Yeah,
she did nothing. She's just, granted, she did stuff, but it was the old man manipulating her. Let's be real here. Fuck out of here.
100%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She's an intern and he's the president. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, come on. That's The Aztecs use skull. Exactly. That's the thing, right? And actually, if you do some reading on the game that the Aztecs played with their with skulls, it's because it didn't start as a skull, just started off as somebody whose head had been taken off, and it's wild. I'm British and prefer American football. I'm hoping they expand the NFL and a London team could be created composed of American. See, this is the thing: is it's the same thing with basketball and hockey. Is that other leagues have been created because the fact is there aren't enough spots for pros everywhere, right? Like if you're in hockey, you're in the US or Canada, right? And if you're in hockey, you're most likely Canadian. The problem is almost all Canadians know how to play hockey and quite well, so they can go to a European league and make good money and end up not getting hurt because European hockey isn't more it's not as violent as it is here, right? But
okay.
and that's the thing too is
I had a question for you, Dina. So last week on our travel episode, we briefly touched on baseball, and you were talking about how like baseball isn't as much of a thing up there. Is hockey kind of Canada's like the pastime? Like everyone plays hockey. Like
so interestingly enough, hockey and lacrosse are so lacrosse is a big deal as well, but baseball it's not really a thing just because it's like it's more American. Whereas hockey is like, oh, I could be a good hockey player in Canada and then I just go down to the States and make money. Mm-hmm. It's right. That's one of those things where baseball is not really a thing, a big like it's like, yeah, we can play baseball. It's like, all right. But it was like hilariously, you'll see baseball diamonds all over the place, especially on schools, rec centers and stuff. Everybody has a baseball field, and they are regularly rented out, and like people have baseball leagues all over the place. Like it's an avid thing that people do as recreation, but it's not a huge thing. I think it stayed big after the Blue Jays won the World Series a few times. So like since then, it's like it's a fun time. It's something to do, but
yeah. And then like baseball has kind of sort of decayed in the US where it's mostly been replaced by basketball and football.
Yeah.
In terms of like the cultural zeitgeist. Like baseball is kind of we like Americans for the most part look at baseball the same way we do Facebook. We're like it had a big role in shaping our culture, but now there's boomers over there.
Oh yeah. Come to a pub in the UK and call it soccer. Harv, listen, I go to the UK all the time because my wife was born in the UK, and I'm like 6'2" and 270 pounds. I'll say whatever I want. It's not a thing. And people are like, "Oh, you want to go?" I'm like, "I'd love to," and they're like, nope, I'm good, thank you." Hey, what's up, Diego? I think basketball or American football wouldn't perform well in the UK. We have rugby and snooker, darts, and everything else. So, but that's the thing is also the UK really embraces sports that aren't sports, like darts, like snooker. Do you guys do bowling? Is that a big thing? I don't. But that's the thing is like that's why it's in the States. There's that division of like there's sports, and then there's stuff that are sports. And you're like, it's not a like.
I would call darts a game, not necessarily a sport.
Well, it's a pub game, right? Like that's the whole idea. I feel like the
same thing with pool billiards, right? Like that's more like a game than a sport.
There's 100% a culture of it, but it's like also darts and pool would be games that you're like most often are in an environment where not good things happen. Right? Like, so like people will be betting on games, people will be doing stuff like that. And you're going like, that's not a good thing. People aren't nice in that environment. But like at the same time, it is still a sport. There's nothing wrong with that. Anytime the NFL plays here, it's sold out in States. Yeah. So they would, the Bills would come up to Toronto and play in, up here. And immediately you couldn't get tickets. Like it was a huge thing. That's why they keep on trying. But like, in the end, it's about money, right? And the fact is that while they could make tons of money, they're like, we don't have to, right? So we have the cheese rolling competition. What else, bro? So
crazy, right? I've seen that before.
There's actually a documentary on. I think it's on Netflix. It might be on Prime. And they go through the whole thing where this. I think it was a woman. It was like she got second last year, but like she got second only because she beamed herself. Like she was going and she was like primed to get first, and then like she tripped or something and like just demolished her entire leg or something. It was crazy, or her ankle. And then so the next year she was like, I'm gonna get it this time, and I think she did. But you're just like, bro, the speed with which people go down, you're like, honestly, I'd watch that shit. And I feel like there's a certain element of like, hey, just have a good time, which I do appreciate about the UK. Is like the only thing that they're violent about is soccer, which is fine, because it's the same with football. When I went to, I'll tell you guys a story. When I went to the Bills game, there was a guy. So we were in like way, way in the back, just because it was impromptu, and we are like, let's just see if we can get tickets. We got tickets. We're good. And there was this guy in the back who had poked a hole in his water bottle, and he kept on squeezing it and going, yeah, it's on purpose, and he's wetting people.
Yeah.
And this young woman was getting quite agitated about it. And realistically, a lot of people are drinking, a lot of people are enjoying themselves. It's fine.
Yeah.
This girl had enough, and she's like, do it again, I'm gonna kick the fuck out of you. Which I was kind of like, interesting. And sure enough,
not even kick the shit out of you.
No. It was 100, and she was a tiny little thing, but she looked riled. And sure enough, he did it again. She walked up to him and started beating him up. Security came and grabbed him. But when they grabbed him, like they grabbed him around his arms and pulled back. So he went like this, and she just 1-2'd like, and he was out. And I'm like, bro, it was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen because she was relentless. And this guy got his ass handed to him. Like, regardless of whether security was holding him or not, funniest shit ever. Definitely. And it was at the end of the game. It was so good. People have definitely died over the cheese roll. You actually get to take it home if you. Damn! That's a big cheese roll. Like, you have cheese for a solid 6 months.
Literally, if you're like cheese for days.
That's fair. That's
fair. Okay, well, I had one question I wanted to ask you guys about sports, which was, what is a sport that isn't really popular to watch, but you would watch if it was on TV? Like, if they just had a lead for this thing, would you watch and go to games?
Is it something that's on? I mean, because like I like certain aspects of tennis, golf. But they're already on TV, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm talking about something that kind of isn't.
Oh, geez, I don't know if there really is anything, to be honest with you. I mean, we got so many networks now. I mean,
yeah, but even like you could take something from the Olympics you don't see any other time, and like I'd watch that on a normal day.
My answer is CNN, The Ocho, dodgeball, 100%. That's exactly. No question.
Dodgeball seems like a fun sport to watch, although it'd be really hard keeping up with stuff, right? Like,
yeah, like so apparently, from the movie Dodgeball, CNN was like, you know what? Let's do the Ocho as like a special of like obscure sports kind of thing, and then like
you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yeah. which is 100% factual. There's no question. But apparently they started doing every couple of years as like a special, and they would document stuff because there are dodgeball leagues. It's not, but apparently CNN was like, let's double down, and they've been doing it every couple of years or so. And in all honesty, if there was a dodgeball league, I would 100% watch that. Like that's bro, watching someone. There's a video of a very dad bod, out of shape looking man who does one of these. He has the ball in his hand. He's pointing, and you can see behind him are all the players of the other team. He points and then goes and backhand throws it, and it cranks this broad in the face. And she's like, "Oh, fuck you," because he's looking towards his team, and he just no look backhands it, bro. She gets taken out, and she's like, because apparently they had been getting each other out over the course of the game, and it kept on building up to a rivalry, and then he cracked her in the face, bro.
Ooh.
And hey, you heard that the red ball twing, just and like right in the face, and immediately she was like, because that's the thing is, if you get hit in the face, there's a good chance you can catch the ball, right? Same, like if you chest or head, you can catch it. It's a question of if you can react.
But also, if you get hit in the head, it's an out for the other team because they can't nail you in the head.
Those are California rules, sir. Okay. And the rest of the world, Yeah. Everyone goes for the head or the wiener.
The junk is fair game.
Or the clam slam, not as painful, still as enjoyable. No question. Yeah.
Joey, what's your answer? What's like a sport or game that you would watch?
No, the problem with dodgeball is that like it looked cool in the movie, but like it would definitely not be that cool in real life. You know
yeah, because it's just like a full court shot, and you just see balls flying. You can't tell who's hitting what.
Right. It's kind of hard for me to really answer that one because most of the stuff I watch is already on TV. I mean, I don't know. It's if they had like a no bra basketball league or something, maybe I don't know, but something for chicks. They don't even have to wear half shirt. They just wear no shirt or just wear a shirt and then no bra, and then just called the no bra league. And I would watch whatever they were doing, but that's never going to happen.
But every man in the universe would be like, I'm going to watch the no bra league. Just leave the room.
Well, the problem with they had the lingerie league, but the problem with the lingerie league was that it wasn't fathomable. Man, they were just hitting each other and whatever. You can have chicks running shoulder pads, and nothing else, and you're going to get hurt eventually. But like a no bra basketball league would work. It'd work. I mean, you'd have to have a minimum cup size. I think you can have a bunch of A cups walking in there.
I would still watch it. Mr. Slaw says, yeah, we do have strange sports here like shin kicking where people have hay covering their shins and then proceed to kick the shit out of each other till someone yells, bro, that is a brutal fucking game, which I would 100% try and play. Definitely would watch. That's for sure. That's like, I don't know. The problem is that you could, like, if there was a dodgeball league, I would watch the playoffs, right? But that would be like 1 day tournament or 2 day tournament. That's it for the year.
Yeah,
like,
there's not like following dodgeball, right?
I don't think you can. But then at the same time, like, I'm not a huge sport guy, right? I'm just right. So it's one of those things where, like, at the same time, you kind of try and like that's a good point, Joey. Like dodgeball, it would be like an event, and then you're done for the year, right? Like it would there'd be behind the scenes shenanigans all year round, and then nothing, right?
It seems like the things that make sports like stick is personalities, and then like team sports where it's not just one guy doing all the work. For like tennis or golf, you pretty much have that. And then the reason it's popular at all is it's just like we left it on the TV in the nursing home. Whatever. But I have two answers. Either have you guys ever seen the South Park episode where
Rochambeau?
No, where they have like the chickens playing Magic the Gathering, but they have like a really excited British announcer. I would totally watch any like trading card game. Follow Nexus at night for trading card games or card fight games.
There you go.
I would follow that if we just had like a really over the top British announcer.
Yeah.
Commentating everything. Either that or lacrosse. I feel like lacrosse would be a fun one.
Lacrosse is a big thing up here.
Really?
Yeah.
Like you have a league and teams and all that stuff, or like what's the?
Yeah, there is, but I don't think it goes past like youth, right? Like especially up here too. There's the OHL, which is like the farm league for the NHL, right?
Yeah.
And those games, number one, like they're not going to be in a big arena. Like it'll be a full size arena, like it's a full arena, but like every ticket, it's kind of like sit wherever you want. Like you could buy. I think you buy.
$8,
Well, you buy your section as opposed to your seat, I believe.
Okay.
And then as well, like you get there early, you get to sit up front, and it's $18. And you're like, and the difference is too, when you're watching these young guys, like they haven't made it yet. They may still have real jobs and stuff like that. So they're trying, like they're fighting for their life, right? Like they're fighting for their chance to go the distance for their entire life, right? So like these guys, not so much, you'll see fights, but like they're a lot better fights, but also too, like you see people like just leaving it all on the table. Like they just go for it, right?
Yeah.
So I know lacrosse, like there was a period of time where I carried around it was a field hockey stick, not a lacrosse stick, in my trunk because it's wood, and then the top is actually flat on one side and has a little hook. It's great for beating the shit out of people. So little things like that are always beneficial. But
I just have the baseball bat in my trunk, but you keep them with 2 gloves.
2 gloves and a ball, 100%. Otherwise, it's premeditated. Yeah.
All right, well, here's a good question for you. What sports weapon that you can use in a video game would be your your funnest one to kill somebody with, or like you used in GTA, something like that. Like for me, dude, in GTA Vice City, beating the fuck out of somebody with the golf club, for some reason that was satisfying.
Can these include like fantasy weapons and shit? Or?
Sure. Okay. Why
not? Pole vault.
Ooh, heavy swings right to the fuck.
No, I just rammed them on it like a skewer. Like, next.
Yeah. I don't know. This might be just because I saw Sonic 3 the other day, but having the Chaos Emeralds have, Super Saiyan hair as much as there is left.
I randomly saw that movie and was in this theater. They built a new theater up here, Phoenix Theaters. It used to be Regal or whatever, but it was this Dolby Atmos. I remember throwing years because normally I doze off with these fucking movies, man. I go to the movies because the chairs, but this one you're just fucking chair shaking like on a roller coaster. So I pretty much stayed awake for all of Sonic 3, which is pretty good.
That's impressive.
Adventure 2 was one of my favorite games as a kid, so I was just the entire time.
I had a Sega Genesis. We went and saw Nosferatu, which wasn't bad, but it was not advertised properly, right? Because it's more like
it's a horror movie.
It's not though. It's Nosferatu. It's like a drama, love, weirdo fucking shit, right? So like remember a while ago, Tom Hiddleston was in that movie about the house on the hill with the red, and it was very like gothic kind of artsy fartsy. But like, so it's like that. So you're like, it's not a bad movie, but it was advertised as Dracula. It's not Dracula. It's Nosferatu. It's not the same thing. Then we went and saw another movie, which I forget what it was. We went and saw Crimson Peak. Yeah. Then we went and saw the new Lord of the Rings, and that was a Wish.com version of Lord of the Rings 2 Towers. Very like they even brought in some of the lines from it, and you're going, why are you? No, the whole point was this was a one-time thing, and you guys are just doing the same story. It's bullshit.
And they're like, no, take this Kroger version of
100%. But then like I've had you two and another 3 people have been like, you should check out Sonic 3. It's pretty awesome. And I'm like, fuck, because I'm like, we were thinking of going to see Kraven the Hunter, but apparently that's not that great either. So
look, honestly, it's definitely a turn your brain off movie, but like just once you let yourself have fun, it's such a fun movie. All 3 of them.
Oh
yeah.
Jimmy, my son really, really liked it. Like he was explaining shit to me, and I was like, okay, because I didn't really understand it. If we saw that High School Academia, I think it was movie or whatever. I didn't understand a word of what was going on with it. Man, he loved it, but I don't know what the hell was going on with it. So.
My something Academia. What is it?
My Hero Academia.
My Hero Academia. That's what, yeah.
Might as well been in Greek, bro. Might as well complete movie. Might as well be in Porto Greek or some shit.
Listen, Joey, the Demon Slayer movie is coming out soon. You can watch all of the Demon Slayer stuff if you want for your son in advance on Netflix, and then you can actually go and start telling him shit about it, and that way you can freak him the fuck out as if you're a super nerd.
He would totally lose it. He'd be like, whoa, what's going on?
My dad used to do that when I was a kid, where like if I wanted to see something, he's like, well, go see it in 2 weeks, and then he would study up on it.
100%. And then you're like, what?
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't even that. I get frustrated because I'm like, I want to nerd out on this thing, and you're better at this than me. Fuck you. You have a driver's license. Like,
I mean, that does seem like something your dad would do, and be like, I'm actually better than everything than you are. So that's fine. But yeah, I don't know. You said so. Hold on. You said the first one was lacrosse.
Yeah, lacrosse or any trading card game if they had like an over-the-top announcer about it.
Oh, definitely.
Because for like any Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering, whatever, they'll have like streamed games for like they're the finals of like Worlds or whatever. They'll have like one game, but I'm talking about like if they split everybody into teams and like you had a whole season and that sort of thing. I feel like that would be something I could follow if it was like, all right, he lays 2 cards face down and ends his turn over to McNuggets. Like just.
I got a new answer for this. I just thought of this. I would definitely pay for like a celebrity, even a celebrity, like a mini golf league.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
That would be great. And then like different teams have different obstacles for their thing. I would totally watch that.
Hell yeah! I mean, we got different courses. Every putt-putt course is different, so you could go around to different courses. And hell yeah, I mean, I would definitely see that.
So I would make that worse by like it'd be mini golf combined with like American Ninja Warrior. So like everyone had to be like over the top crazy fit. So it's like you have to make this putt, but you also have to be upside down from the rafters. And like, but then also like I would incorporate
cool.
I would incorporate like a little bit of like Mario Kart where you could like throw stuff while they're playing and just be like fireball and just while you're like I'm putting, everyone quiet. It's like bullhorn, boom. Like
you get 3 bullhorns per 9 holes or whatever. So like if he's on a turtle,
yeah, I don't want to know what the blue shell looks like for mini golf.
it would be like jail cell just to the face. Just be like,
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, Dino. I think we could actually make this work.
I would totally watch televised mini golf, especially like because mini golf in real life. The point is, it takes a lot of the skill out of it. Where you're like, I put it in the windmill, and then I got to wait for it to come out, and then it's like whatever little hallway it travels down. If you put a little bit more skill in it by having different targets you had to aim at, or you like hit it in the windmill, and then you have to walk inside the windmill, and then do something inside the windmill, and like that sort of thing. I would watch that.
Hey, easy. What's up, Alley Bro? I would escalate and definitely incorporate more Mario Kart where they would have like accelerators throughout the mini, like because like you can do mini golf, but make it like because right now a mini golf, like one mini golf putt is what, maybe 10, 12 feet, the whole structure, like the whole
it's
thing?
like, and it's also about 8 seconds. Like it's not very
long. So what if you did it where it was like you still had a quasi, like it was mini golf, but you still had a fairway. So instead of like 10 to 12 feet, you made it like 100 feet long. So you would have a green, you would have a tee, you would have a fairway, but like it would still be a wonky fucking thing, right? Yeah. Like there's a way, like you could definitely make mini golf a big deal.
Sure. Well, especially if you play up the weirdness to it.
Yeah,
you get all the like the theater kids and the people on the autism spectrum, and
100%.
You could easily get people into it.
Sorry, Ellie Bro. Sundays we do early, just an FYI.
Well, it's not just usually,
right.
It's just early for us lately. Just for people who are like, how do we know when this starts? Keep an eye on my Dino or the Generation Dan Instagram. Like the day before is the easy way to keep an eye on it. Worst case scenario, this is always there for you to watch afterwards.
Yeah, you can go back and watch and leave comments, and we will respond because we are losers. Yes. Also, too, if you haven't already, subscribe to Dino Jag Marvel, Atlas Novak, Generation Dan, and Square Table Degenerates is where Joey is, and he is a nightmare. Next week, so I'm so glad I didn't miss the death pool. I hope you'll include me this year.
Joey. I forgot about the death pool.
Joey, I saw his post about delaying the death pool, and I was like, "Ooh, thank Christ!" So, you're doing it next Friday?
Next Thursday, next Friday, probably earlier. I want to say I'm going to take the temperature to see like when Squirrel and them are off work. So I'm doing a cheese thing next week too.
If I can do it in text, because I'll be doing Nexus at Night stream around the time you're doing it. Would love to.
Yeah, you can either be in the comments or give me a list, something like that. You give a draft for you, whatever.
It's all good.
All right.
No, see, this is the thing is like every year, just so everyone understands, Joey does a death pool, and it culminates essentially. You get points for predicting who's going to pass away, which is super morbid. However, also hilarious to see what people choose because sometimes they are out of left field. I forget who I got this past year.
I can pull it up real quick. Give me about 5 seconds.
Yeah, because there was somebody obscure that I had mentioned, and you were like, "Hey, they passed away." I'm like, "Jesus, I forgot that I even selected them."
Donald Sutherland, you had who passed away.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's fair.
He was 88.
I put Henry Kissinger on my list every year, even though he was worth like 1 point, just because like fuck him. And then he did, and then I was happy.
At the age of 100, so you get 0 points. You're like,
I don't care. No, it wasn't even. I was like, yes.
It's about time he died.
Yeah.
Worst crime. I don't know. Gee, this is the thing.
3 first-round picks passed away this year. It was Johnny Irwin, Jimmy Carter, and Shannon Doherty. All passed
away. Damn.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter came in.
Shannon Doherty passed away?
Yeah. She had cancer or whatever the fuck it was. I can't remember exactly.
That sucked. She was apparently crazy. See, this is the thing is, I feel like there's something to be said that anything can become a viable, entertaining sport, like any activity. It's a question of if it's good, right? Like, because inherently you're like, some things are televised and you're just like, this is horrible, right? Like watching snooker and darts, I'm like, I get it, but I pair it with bowling. I'm like, those are things to do. Like, those are, you should have like a beer league or something like that. And I'm like, that's a great recreational thing, but should it be televised? I don't know. But then again, anything can be, right? It's a weird thing. Well, okay, here's a question for you guys. As we wind down, what would be something that is a big sport that you would eliminate if you had the option?
Eliminate if I had the option. Well, because the easy targets are the big, however many, or the big three of. I don't know. I feel like
all women's sports. Is that okay?
Damn, Joey.
Absolutely.
Full blooded.
I'm sorry.
You know I would make cheerleading a sport. Cheerleading needs to be a sport because there are competitive cheerleading leagues.
Dude, it's hard, bro.
Yeah.
You got to be fit to be a cheerleader. Not so much the guys at the bottom, but the people on top, bro. You have to be like peak physical condition to do some of that shit. And it's also, I think, better than gymnastics. That's my opinion. But like, because you still have to do gymnastic type stuff, but it's also like to music and a show. Whereas gymnastics, you're like, watch me do this thing, mom and dad. Ah! And you're like, that's not.
I guess cheerleading is closer to theater than it is a sport, right?
True,
like you go out. Yeah. They're doing like acrobatic tricks and dancing and stuff, and like that seems like something. Why not just have that be something for the stage? I guess. Formula One, yeah, my sister is really big into Formula One. I tried, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Sorry, Felix.
So, well, listen. Oh, I might get a little hate for this. I vote higher Formula One than NASCAR, but at the same time, there's a better chance in like watching it. Like there's like the only reason to watch driving sports is just to watch something explode. Like that's like so. Like I feel like
just watch MythBusters.
Well, no, but I think the missed thing is that like it should more be what was the Jason Statham where he had to drive and it was like in jail, and he was like Death Race. Like I feel like that would be more entertaining than what we have. Like because it is still 100% Death Race. There's no question, but like. Let's just be honest with ourselves. We're watching it to see who dies, as opposed to
I would agree with eliminate NASCAR. I mean, I'm just not a fan. It's more of a southern thing. It's so hard.
It's driving in a circle. It's not a thing.
Driving in a circle, and I mean, it's like you get the gas, you drive around a circle, all the cars the same. How the fuck is one guy driving faster than the other? But it just makes no sense to me. I don't know.
Yeah, see, Mr. Sloth. Yeah, it's 100% about the carnage. Like, and that's the thing is, I wish at least with football. American football is like, there's no question why we're all here. We're here for carnage, right? Rugby, 100%. Soccer, the problem is people are so full of shit that you're like, it's not enjoyable, right? Like, whereas you're like, rugby, that's just violence, bro. American football, 100% just violence. And there's less of a, we're a real sport. We're not here for carnage. You're like, yeah, you are. Just stop lying. Stop fucking lying. And that's why, like, I would be more into NASCAR, Formula One, and everything if every once in a while someone had like a smoke screen, oil spill, or miniguns. Just miniguns. Yeah, like 100%.
It all comes back to Mario Kart,
Absolutely. I feel like that's a missed thing. Like, well, it's okay. Joey, do you remember what was it called? Roller
derby.
What's it called? Roller derby.
Yeah. Roller derby
is cool.
Is very entertaining, but also you're like, bro, people get knocked the fuck out.
Getting elbowed in the face and shit. It's nuts.
And I'm like, listen, I'm all for it. And then like they'll slingshot people, and you're like, bro, you go. I remember there was a televised version where one team had the fridge, and he was an ex-football player, but he was big.
He was Perry, refrigerator Perry. I know who Refrigerator Perry is.
Do you remember when Refrigerator Perry boxed Manute Bol in Fox Celebrity Boxing? It was the most horrible thing ever.
That sounds horrible. I definitely got to Google that later. But like they had like so there was like a figure 8, but there was one section where it had a super high wall where you could get extra points. And only once did I ever see where the fridge like went in there and like only got like 3 feet up. And you're like, bro, you got to get speed for it. Yeah. But he took people out. And you're like, number one, how is this guy skating? Like, I don't understand. Like, it really felt like they just drilled holes into his feet and put wheels on it. And they're like, go for it.
I was actually going to bring up Rollerball. What's a movie based on that's violent? Rollerball. So it's like it's a dystopia movie from the 70s that's like the most 70s movie ever. They're like, we tried to make it timeless. No, the fuck you didn't. There was brown and orange everywhere. That is the 1970s. Generations. But it's one of those movies where, again, turn your brain off. It's fun. Like it's like a cool premise that I think they kind of fucked up on. They made it worse on the remake, which they made like 10 years
that was
ago.
Horrible.
Yeah, but the original one's pretty okay. I watched it with a double feature with Death Race 2000, which is even more wackety schmackety of a movie. Like if you've ever seen Wacky Races, that but a movie. Joey's head went snap. I know what Wacky Races is.
Also,
I would honestly just get rid of soccer. To like. It's boring. Like, they're kicking this ball around. Almost nothing happens. It was a blowout at 2-0. Like, no, that's not
a blowout.
That's not a blowout.
When most another 0-0 tie here at Enfield.
Yeah. There's that. Like, I did see this video where it's a show in Japan. Dino, I saw this on TV in Japan. It's 3 professional players playing soccer versus 100 elementary school age children.
Oh, definitely. I would watch the fuck out of that. No question.
Speaking of Japan, do you remember that one Saturday Night Live sketch where Chris Farley was he got lost when he was over in Japan and he gets on this game show, but like it's a different game show like in America. Like there's the guy got the answer wrong and he cut his hand off. Do you remember that sketch? It's so good.
Yes. I do remember that one.
Okay, so this is the thing is like Joey, you probably remember this. I don't know if Atlas, if you've seen this, but the movie The Running Man.
Oh yeah, I've seen The Running Man.
So you're like, this is the thing is we now have a whole shit ton of movies like Hunger Games and stuff like that, which kind of glorify that. You're like, bro, we just want to see carnage. Running Man is 100%. Yeah, Squid Game. You're like, no. We want to see the carnage. That's what it's there for. Like, I just watched season 2 of Squid Game, and it was like they continued the story instead of just doing it over again. Can I ask y'all a trivia question? Of course you can.
We'll keep going, but shoot.
Yeah. But like that's the whole idea. Like, I don't know that I would like I feel like we keep on stopping short of what everyone actually wants. Like the idea of football, you're like, you have padding, good. I think one guy should get to be a tank and just be like, he's steel plated and just like, he's slow, but he moves. And you're like, yeah, if you can't disable the tank, you're going to lose. Like, it's just, I feel like we keep on hobbling our sports on a regular basis. And you're like, I feel like you should do that. What is the capital of Arkansas?
Little Rock.
Jesus, dog lover, how dare you? You see the people I'm with? I'm Canadian, even I know that.
I just remember it from
about me is I knew all the state capitals by the time I was 4. My parents can't verify that because they're deceased, but I did. I knew them all by the time I was 4.
I remember them from Animaniacs, right? They have the song where it's Wacko doing it. Yeah.
That's Joey. What was the driver behind it? Your parents were just like, "This is good to know. You should know it."
They used to give me flashcards, all this random experimental shit. And when I was young, I used to. When I say experimental, like just learning quick kind of cards, all those little things and stuff like that. And I was always I can still remember numbers from the 80s. I mean, it's just one of those memories. It's just like how it goes.
Who else just heard him say it was an experiment, and you're like, "Yeah, that checks out." You were definitely. There's no qualms about that.
I know that because of Zombieland.
Because of something. Got
a character named Little Rock. Oh my god, I forgot what it was we were talking about with the.
I said how we're not going the full distance with our sports options. Yeah,
I would also love like where you have like the Harlem Globetrotters, where it's like performative basketball. I would love to see that with other sports.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever seen the Savannah Bananas? They kind of do that. It's fun. The guy came out with a bat that was totally on fire. He lit the bat on fire when he came out the bat.
Oh yeah. Those guys are, bro. That's an entertaining show.
For what?
Do y'all watch? Not really.
It's called. Look it up, Dino. Or Alice. It's called the Savannah Bananas. It's just all basket. Yeah. It's just like the Globetrotters, but they go around different.
Baseball.
It's baseball.
Yeah. But they have like they really put an effort into like. Okay, I didn't hear about the flaming baseball bat, but that's awesome.
Oh, they're only in Savannah, so they don't travel around like the Globetrotters.
No, they travel around. They're just like the Globetrotters, but they travel around and just play exhibition games against.
Not as extensive as the Globetrotters, though.
Yeah, not as extensive as the Globetrotters, but they go around and do they sell the fuck out, dude. They're popular as hell.
Oh yeah,
$100 for these tickets. People love it.
But they also watch this.
Bro, but
that's awesome.
I'm not sure if I remember this correctly, but I remember where you could buy a beer for like the players as well. You'd be like, I'm gonna buy, and they would have them deliver, and then the guy would be like, hey, cheers to you, boom, pop, and you're like, bro, that's a good time. Like, I feel like if we're gonna bush league stuff, then let's go for it. What's up, Serge? Sorry, Serge. I tried to make it later, but it just didn't work out though.
Yes, we do. If you want to see me be absolutely the worst person in the world. Joey, I can't remember the name of the episode that I was on, but I was hangry the entire time and was a complete asshole.
I think if you just type it, go to Google or go to the search thing and type in STD Atlas Novak and it pops up. The episode was named after you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Without questioning the acronym that he just said. Yeah. Nope, nothing.
I remember when I was on Joey's podcast and then I kept on looking at the camera and just doing the whole like, someone help me. It's just someone. And then he gave me. Okay, this is the thing. Joey was like, so Joey's name is Joey Edibles for reasons. And Joey makes not good, but fantastic chocolate chip cookies. Okay. But the problem is he doesn't give you something else to snack on. So I had
the munchies, but the munchies.
Yeah. So I had 9 cookies that I do not regret, and it ruined my life. But I would definitely next time I'm coming with 10. Like I'm going for the distance. I'm going to beat the record. There's no question. So.
Yeah, for those that don't know, I have an all-you-can-eat edibles policy for anybody who comes visit me in studio. And Dino was probably the only person out of, I would say, 50 that's ever taken full advantage of the all-you-can-eat edibles policy.
Hey, fat guy for life. Sorry, I can't not do it. Square Table Degenerates is hilarious. It absolutely is. All right, so. We'll wrap up now. Joey, where can everyone find you and follow you and plug anything you have coming up?
Only on YouTube, Square Table Degenerates. Look it up. Monday, we got actor Andy Kamau. He was in 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag. 2-hour photo. He was in that. Also, on the 17th, that's a Friday, we got wrestler Pat Tanaka. He was part of the Orient Express in the 90s with Mr. Fuji and all those guys. And on January 23rd, be sure to see me at the Funny Bone in Cleveland. I'm taking a seminar out there, and there's a graduation show, so it's my first time really on stage in quite a while, so don't miss it. You're going to have a good time with it. And always subscribe to the Square Table Degenerates. Trust me when I tell you, 100%. You're not going to regret it. It's a good subscription. I'm one of the top underground shows out there on YouTube that's out there, man. It's a fucking great time, dude.
Let's be honest. Square Table Degenerates, it's like smoking your first joint. You're setting on a path that you can't turn away from, but you will have a good time. It's fair. It's a reasonable, it's a fair thing. Atlas?
Yeah, you can follow me at Atlas Novak everywhere social medias are found. Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky. Not Twitter, because I nuke that shit from orbit because it's gross. And if you want to see me doing stand-up, I am at Flappers in Burbank, California on Tuesday, January 21st at 7:30 p.m. with Shauna Carroll, one of our past guests on this show. Awesome. Or if you want to check out my other show, Nexus at Night, which is about the trading card game Card Fight Vanguard. If you don't like it, I completely understand. And also go suck a railroad spike. And follow Generation Dan on everywhere.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I am, as you can see here, Dino the Genetic Marvel. The reason I go by that is because I used to be 500 pounds and had no titties. Now I'm only 270 and still have no titties. I'm not a scientist, but it's awesome. So please feel free to follow me on all social media. I'm most active on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So please make sure that you subscribe to all of them, or I will be under your bed and will scare the living shit out of you later.
Do not look for me on TikTok because I am not there.
Yeah, Joey is full boomer, and he's like, TikTok's the devil. I'm not gonna do it. But
honestly, I get it.
Which is reasonable.
Post and leave. I don't really do TikTok.
So this is the thing is, I love doom scrolling TikTok. It's just a very easy, friendly thing. But however, like 6 hours pass and you're like, fuck, I had shit to do. So, but yeah, please follow me. I am doing shows all week long. I am trying to get back into Lego and unboxings and stuff because I am also a super fucking nerd. But you can come check me out on. We have shows like Life of Giants, where we look at a historical figure and discuss a specific quote and how that affects us. We have Men.
How have I not guessed it on this yet?
We haven't really had any guests on it. We're still trying to figure it out. Cool. So then we have on Thursdays, we have Mental Health, where we discuss ongoing situations and how to better men's health, because that's a real thing. It's not made up, as opposed to what Joey thinks. It's real. Men's mental health is important. Also, it's not the same as women's mental health. You gotta. There's a difference.
I would agree. It's not the same as women's mental health. It's a whole different aspect, though. You gotta.
It's very. And that's the whole thing. Is we talk about violence, kicking people, and punching people in the face. It's very important. Saturdays we do Hammered and Cheese, which is a cooking show. Feel free to check it out. But make sure you like, share, subscribe. And listen, I'm fully monetized. Joey's fully monetized. Atlas is behind the bar because he has like a real life bullshit. So if you want, you can always give us super chats, and to the point where if you want us to, you can give super chat. Remember, this is like New Year's resolutions. Your super chats don't always have to be for good. They can be for evil. So you can super chat your enemy, and we will shout them out in the most horrible way possible. So no, you're only limited by your imagination. So please. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, tweet. What do you do on Blue Sky? What is this?
I don't know. I signed up for Blue Sky, and like, there's two people, Atlas and like some other guy, and Jimmy Malone and that girl Carla Adrian. They're the only people that follow me on there, and I go on there, and there's nothing new. So I don't know. It's hard for me to start up a new app. Like, you know, what I mean, I signed up for it. I mean, I get the app. It seems good, but it's like.
They have like starter packs where it's like, these are the type of people, if you're into this, and then it'll auto follow them instead of having to like.
That sounds horrible.
No, it's much quicker. It's been
I mean, my whole thing is on X, Twitter, whatever it's called. It's like the things that I don't see the stuff, the bad stuff, because I follow mostly sports people and a couple other ones. So it's like in my algorithm, I don't really see the toxic shit, so it doesn't really bother me that much.
And that's why, if you want to follow Atlas Novak, he's up for joining a new cult as long as it's efficient and just one click and you join. That's very
right. You got to have a card game,
or at least until it gets bought up by like a weird billionaire who
totally reasonable.
You know, born under apartheid and
who is clearly a supervillain. Let's be honest. This is fine.
Totally. Severely. Well, we have to be honest about this guy. He's severely autistic as well.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
Hey. Listen, he's a
superior. Something for sure.
He's a superior billionaire to Jeff Bezos. Let's just call it that. Okay. Hey, he's been on Saturday Night Live. That's fair.
Bezos is weird because I don't like his taste in women. I can have $100 billion in the bank and go home with fucking plastic surgery Johnny over there.
Hey. Plus, he lost to Mansa Musa in a rap battle, so you know.
There you go. That's how that works. Anyways, everyone, please like, share, subscribe, follow, send us a letter, whatever you want. We'll be back next week. See ya.